All right, boys and girls, we did something wrong, but I think we're good. I got to get Kevin a new invitation. Yeah, uh, it's never perfect. It's never perfect, but we will do what we can. We will do what we can. Uh, but we're back. We should be back. Let's see. I I. Kevin, come back. Kevin, come back. Let's see if anybody else finds the live stream. Oh, stupid. It's stupid. Jason, tell everybody where we are. I don't know why. Now I can hear you, Kevin.
What?
I don't know. I had to crash the show and start the show and redo the show, and now there's people are spread out all over the place.
Victor's in here somewhere.
Victor and Mallory and Hunky are all in the Rumble.
I did lose break all our friends.
They're slowly filtering back in. I'm gonna have to download the two shows and put them together into one show. I don't care. It's Friday, Kevin. I am not getting stressed out about anything. not getting stressed out. I do actually have some unboxings that are nothing to do with vaping that I'm gonna save until we do we're on Rumble only. But because it could be sensitive content for Rumble or for YouTube, because
you get your naked lady hats finally. Huh?
They are pokey. They're sharp things that you poke people with. So I wouldn't want to, even though there are hundreds and thousands of knife videos on YouTube. I'm going to save them for the Rumble.
Alrighty then.
But at least some people are finding us, and they're coming back, I guess.
Are you all plugged in now, Zippy?
I don't know. I guess I should, tweet.
You remember Michael and you? Yeah, you and Michael were poking at the bear here for not being plugged in with my microphone. What happened?
Well, I
smarter than me.
I switched to these other Bluetooth headphones. These ones never fuck up. But when I switched to these, I tested it, passed the test, but I couldn't hear you talk. Which is okay, because I normally ignore everything you say anyway. But now I'm gonna go to Twitter real quick and say,
Kevin broke it. Go ahead. You're used to doing that, so that's fine.
Oh my gosh!
What? Stop crying.
There's every time I hit a key on the keyboard, I get a little tinkle in my headphones.
Oh, we should test you for uranium then. We must have some. Huh? What?
Yeah, I got uranium in my urine.
That's right. Curious as to why they're testing urine on children, but anyway.
Well,
they don't do incognito stuff, do they?
Some of these people are very interested in younger people's genitals for some reason, but
I saw I was going to share it with you, and I thought, no, I won't. I'll just say it. Like a 20-odd-year-old female student somewhere was doing nasty things to like a 15-year-old boy, and she's, I guess, under investigation or charges or something. And I thought, well, there's another example of Patrick's.
It's almost like, Kevin, that I can predict.
And this has a double shot, because I guess if I read it right or whatever, and my memory can be wrong, I am old. I think she was molesting him at the church, but she is a teacher, so it wasn't in her teaching capacity. Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a two for bad situation, Kevin.
yeah. Well,
Two for. Let me go over here so I can find my list of links. I
you
did.
got a list.
I have a list of links.
I got a list.
I, that we can open and talk about things. And you know what, Kevin? The list is not horribly long tonight. I know
Good.
that there are going to be some articles that happened this week. I know that there's some really cool like sound bites and things that everybody else has covered. So there really didn't seem to me a reason for us to redo stuff that Grimm has covered or whatever somebody else has covered. But
Yeah.
all the stuff on tonight's list, I haven't seen anybody else study
Well,
or talk about.
I'm just telling you, you're trying to make Janice happy because she wants to go garage sailing tomorrow.
Well,
that-
you know, you
that
got to
starts
go buy
early.
garages and stuff, Kevin. Well, I have to
Right.
get up in the morning and go to Best Buy. Ha!
It's not about you. It's about her.
I get to go to Best Buy tomorrow. So,
Good.
yeah. So here, Kevin, this says that Ontario is introducing a plan to limit cell phone use, social media, and vaping in schools.
There's no sense in just the one. Let's do them all
So-
at once.
Now, shouldn't the people that pay the bill for the cell phone be the ones responsible for telling their children to stop using their cell phones?
I don't know I don't know what those junkets
Or
do.
to,
I'm assuming they're in charge of their own kids, are they not?
You would-
I don't know.
I mean, you would think. But anyway, it says here, let me scroll down. This is published on the 29th by the Canadian Press. It says Ontario will... Oh, look at this. Look at this. It was not behind a paywall this morning.
Oh, well, you read it. Now it is.
Now, give me a minute here. I can find another
Source.
article about the same thing.
Here's the funny thing is I guess my children were here. I said, hey, you're going to school, you got rules. Don't be fucking around. And if you get in trouble, you're in trouble. And that's how that works, as far as I remember. I don't know today
Well,
that happens.
Kevin,
Why?
don't act like you were the best parent ever.
Oh, no, never. Ever.
You know, let's be fair. You're not the perfect. I mean, well, you probably are a pretty damn good dad, but I don't want to say the perfect dad. You know.
No, I didn't say I was.
Are
Are you implying that I'm implying?
I don't want to increase the size of your noggin any more than. You know,
Huh.
I don't know. You might have been an okay dad, but you know, here this is a different headline, same article.
Oh, good.
Ontario tightens rules on cell phone use, bans vaping in schools. I mean, really, Kevin, hasn't vaping already been banned in schools already?
I thought it had. I didn't. I didn't actually think it was legal for children to have them, so I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe not.
Let's see if there's a commercial on this video, if it'll even load. You know, it is Canadian.
I just imagine.
The Ontario government is cracking down on cell phone use in the classroom.
Every parent and teacher we speak to has shared the growing problem of cell phone distractions in class.
Under the new rules, starting in September, students in kindergarten through grade 6 will soon have to keep phones out of sight all day. For those in grades 7 to 12, the ban will only apply during class time, unless teachers say otherwise. Ontario previously introduced restrictions in
So, the younger kids,
Yeah.
who probably are more engaged with their teacher than the high school kids,
Yeah.
can't show their phone at all day. But the high school kids who already ignore their teachers, they're allowed to walk in the hallways with their cell phones. They just have to hide them during class.
Because I was going to say that's what they're going to do anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, that seems obviously, I mean, unless you're a horrible, sneaky kid, I mean...
2019, but allowed individual school boards to make those rules.
The fundamental difference is this is the policy the province is implementing with standard.
So so it's already illegal, but see, this is the same thing with, you know, I see with like states deciding to pass legislation that mirrors the federal government. Like,
Yeah. Eventually.
Why are you wasting time passing a bill that's already law federally?
Right.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
With consistency in the application and the enforcement.
Quebec has a similar ban in place. BC is moving to do the same. This policy would see students having to surrender their phones to a staff member if rules are broken.
How many cell phones is one teacher going to collect? What happens if something happens to one of the cell phones? What happens if a student refuses to surrender their cell phone?
Hey, Kevin, when you were in
What?
school, did you carry a communication device around with you all day when you were at school?
No, because they didn't exist.
So we survived.
We did.
All the previous generations of us humans survived in a school environment, you know, without having a cell phone at all.
Yeah.
And our parents were okay because they put us on the bus or drop us off at school, and we were at school, you know, without a cell phone,
All
without
day.
all day. It didn't kill us. We didn't die.
Not even with a quarter to use the payphone.
Again, Kevin, I am not a parent.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Well.
But I fail to see the reason why a child needs a cell phone during the day when they're under the supervision of adults, even though some of them are kind of handsy. I mean, and stuff. And survive. Obviously, we need to be better at selecting our educators so that we don't have pervs as educators. But I just don't get it. I mean, I did. You know, Steve says, but we had our own house key. Actually, when I was a kid, I didn't have a house key because we never locked our fucking doors.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I guess on one hand, this might be good. Then the teachers can't diddle with the kids on their phones, right?
Well, they can't groom them on their phones.
But I've had two instances as an adult, which really pisses me off. I didn't think you'd know that. At one point, I was told I couldn't carry a pocket knife in a place of employment, and at another time, I couldn't carry a cell phone. Two different jobs. One was retail, one was security. But I just kind of tilt my head like a dog. Go, what? What is wrong with you?
Yeah,
because I figure if you're breaking the rules, you should have ramifications. You should have things you have to do, or get fired, or be suspended for 3 days, or whatever. Leave the fucking kids alone.
I actually have worked at places that have had rules about carrying pocket knives. At work.
Yeah, well. Shall not be.
How frequently are they reaching into my pants pocket is what I want to know.
That's true. Why should I have to worry about it?
Yeah. I do carry a multi-tool to work with me, Kevin.
Oh.
There's no rules about multi-tools.
But is there a blade on it?
Well, there's scissors on it. There's it is a Swiss Army multi-tool. Mm-hmm. It has pliers and a screwdriver.
It identifies as a multi-tool, but it's a knife with other tools. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
I do carry a Swiss Army multi-tool in my pocket with like 33 tools on it. One or two of them.
A knife is a tool.
One or two of them might have a sharp stabby end, but it's a tool.
Yeah. We're going off the edge here, but either way, stop telling people what to do when they're adults and fucking make the kids follow the fucking rules.
No. Stop telling adults what to do.
Yeah.
And then stop trying to parent their children. Let the adults parent their children. But anyway, let's go back to this.
Some teachers say a ban ignores that cell phones have become a valuable research tool.
School is actually...
Now, aren't the textbooks the research tool that these children are supposed to be learning from?
Have they done away with those? Are those gone now? They're rewriting.
Don't get me wrong, Kevin, but I hope to God if they're saying research tool and the internet and under the same breath, that they are not including Wikipedia as a
source,
a valid research source
That's tobacco control source. So.
Okay.
the perfect environment to start to teach kids this self-regulation, because when they leave school,
Self-regulation, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
cell phones are a part of life. They are a part of our society. I don't think that's effective to try and enforce a policy where we pretend they don't exist.
Some students agree that a ban could actually create more issues.
It's just going to make students want to take them out more and use them more.
At the end of the day, it's the kid's decision if they're going to be on the phone and not look at the lesson.
The province
Oh,
is
child.
It's the kid's decision
Oh, child.
whether they're
you're so
going to
young.
pay attention to the lesson or play on their phone. Now,
Michael
young
said
man,
he was okay. He was okay with the government raising his kids.
Let's replay this. Yeah.
Or at the end of the day, it's the kid's decision if they're going to be on the phone and not look at the lesson.
So his parents need to take him to the side and beat him aggressively about the head.
About the head and face and neck.
Yes.
Hey, I got a question. Maybe their lessons suck and they need to upgrade their lessons to make
Well, I
them more
mean, if the
interactive.
teachers were at all engaging
Ding, zing, ding, ding.
and not trying to put their hands into their pants, which is quite common, and they were actually teaching, then the child would want to
Just
learn.
imagine.
Okay. I know I'm beating that like dead horse like a lot, but yeah.
Province is also banning vaping on school properties, requiring students to turn over any vape products they are caught carrying.
Now,
I love the wording. Hey, I caught you, so now you got to turn it in. But it's fine if I don't catch you.
Fig is over in the Rumble. He says, back when I was a kid in school.
Fingeroni.
Yeah. So, but again, they pass more laws that repeat other laws. So
It's
they're saying
already-
that kids, it's already illegal for kids to possess these items. So
You
yes,
can't have
you should.
porn
You
either,
don't
but they
really
got
have to
that.
have a new law to enforce already existing law. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like they're busy passing duplicate regulations and duplicate laws instead of passing new laws and new regulations that could help somebody somewhere.
All of these changes set for September. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
Toronto. I've been there. It's a nice town.
Wow.
It's a nice little town there. The
How do you engage
Toronto.
the child?
Yeah, just maybe teach them.
Maybe put their
Was
lessons on
that
their
Crosby, Stills and Nash teach?
Yeah.
Teach them children's well.
Teach your children well,
Yeah.
Don't sing. They didn't come here to pay for you to sing.
No, I actually did not sing last night. John tried to get me to sing on his show.
I see.
I think the question was, what is the name? What is the first song that you remember learning all the lyrics to? And I was like, do I still have to remember them now, or is it a song that I could have memorized then and forgotten? But I do remember some of the words to the theme song for the Dukes of Hazzard. So I
well, there you
claimed
go.
responsibility for that one.
Yeah. Well, mine must be the Brady Bunch then.
Yeah. Well, Fig says that's an interest. We have interesting stage names tonight. So, Fig, the inside joke is last night I was being interviewed on the Zample Box channel by John, but John had Jason on last week, so he didn't update his notes, and he kept asking me questions and calling me Jason. So tonight
I'm the real Kevin.
I'm Jason, not Jason. Because Jason is in the room watching us, and I want him to know that I am not him. So that's why. But speaking of pee, Kevin.
Oh yeah, I gotta go.
Speaking of pee, let's talk about this warning about uranium and other toxic metals being found in teenage vapors' pee.
Yeah. Teenagers, not adults, just teenagers.
Yeah, it says vaping may expose teenagers to toxic metals which could harm their brains and other vital organs, research suggests.
Yeah.
The risk could even be higher in sweet e-cigarette flavors, which are typically favored by youngsters. So, again, with the only kids like things that are sweet and fruity flavored. Experts said the findings underscore the need for tighter regulation and prevention efforts to stop the targeting of teens. The analysis involved 200 U.S. teenagers. That's a huge sample size. 200, Kevin.
Please tell me they weren't all inner city, high-risk children.
Aged 13 to 17 that lived near a nuclear power plant.
All right. Okay. Well, they're actually underage. That's good. They got to start on it.
Who were categorized as either frequent, intermittent, or occasional vapors.
Okay.
The usage was determined by the number of puffs per day, ranging from 27 puffs to 7.9 or 0.9 puffs, respectively. I'm okay, Kevin. Can you demonstrate for me 9/10 of a puff?
Yeah, when it slips out of my hand, I guess I'm starting in a. Whoops! Fuck! I missed.
9/10 of a puff.
It's
So
all
biomarkers in urine were then assessed for the presence of metals, lead, uranium, and cadmium. Both frequent and intermittent e-cigarette users had higher lead levels in their urine than those who vaped occasionally, the study found. Frequent vapors also had higher levels of uranium in their urine compared to occasional vapor. So all you heavy vapors out there, be very careful because your penis might just drop off because of the radioactive urine that you are excreting.
Poor Ed.
Well, I'm
just looking
thinking,
at that bag all day long.
Addy could be out in his garage working on something and ka-thunk. And he looked down to the floor and out of his pants leg falls his member.
Is uranium flammable? Because I don't know.
Kevin, I have no experience with radioactive uranium, so.
Well, I thought you had.
No. The closest I've ever come to any uranium is getting an X-ray because I know that they have.
Michael has a good question. Does that mean their peepees? Do they glow in the dark?
That's what I'm wondering. I don't. I'm a pretty heavy vapor.
Yeah, me too.
And I only look at myself naked in the dark.
Well, thank God.
And I have not seen anything glowing. So yeah.
But okay, never mind. We could just go into the depths of stupid.
Well, I mean, this is pretty the depths of so anyway, different vape flavors affected the uranium levels, Kevin, according to the findings published in Tobacco Control. A third of vapors preferred menthol or mint flavors, while 49% used fruit-flavored vapes and 15.3% used sweet-flavored vapes. According to researchers, those that used the sweet flavors had higher uranium levels compared to those who preferred menthol or mint. So actually, in this case, Kevin, we should be promoting people to use menthol flavors and stay away from, they can't ban menthol now, Kevin, because it has less uranium, less risk of kids' pee-pees falling off.
This sounds vaguely like this. I don't know for sure if that's what it is, but we'll see.
I'm very concerned here. Researchers acknowledge the study's limitations, including that the presence of uranium in urine could be down to environmental exposure or dietary intake. However, they said despite the limitations, this study reported increased urine lead and uranium levels associated with vaping. So they already said, well, it could be.
It is in food. I checked.
It could be environmental or dietary, but we're going to pin it on the vaping. We're going to pin it on.
Well, I don't know his name. So Dr. Kevorkian from the WHO, whoever the fuck he is, he put this on there, and then he's already been community noted. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for fucking making sure he's a dumbass. I saw it's possible in food. Well,
Yes.
hell, I didn't know formaldehyde was in your body until I started vaping. So it's
Until we started looking at shit, Kevin, and that made us smarter.
Not know, because
Yeah.
yeah.
So all those heavy metals and all of those uraniums and cesiums and all that stuff, is going to make your pee-pees fall off, Kevin. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm just saying, if Fig's hair hasn't fallen out yet, we're all safe. That's what I think.
Yeah. So crazy. I'm not reading the whole thing, but I just wanted to let you know, especially my male listeners. The girl listeners don't have to worry about their pee-pees falling off, but they could prolapse or something in the girly parts. So just be careful out there and make sure that. Because Kevin, I'm starting to be a little concerned here, Kev, because
are you for what?
That my e-liquid, that
I
currently vape, it is a concerning color of green.
Wow.
It is a concerning color of green. Look.
Mallory, get some duct tape. You'll be fine.
It is green, so therefore, it may be radioactive.
All I know is verbal masturbation from the scientific alleged study of bullshit. So
yeah, it could be that. See, Mallory is already a cautionary tale. Because when I first met Mallory on Twitter, his name was Malcolm, and he just vaped too much, and his pee-pee fell off, and now he's Mallory.
What are you talking about? Well, I'm Sonia's sister, so shush, calm down.
Shush, I'm just
I already told her she needs duct tape. She should be fine.
Yeah,
everything will be okay.
Little super glue.
Oh, wait, we could get superpowers.
We might mutate, become mutants. That's possible too. Yeah. We could be the V-Men. We can't be the X-Men because that's trademarked, but we could be the V-Men or something.
Yeah. Like a glow in the dark clusterfuck band.
Well, they do glow in the dark, Kevin. We could what it is. I figured it out. All those kids that are glow in the dark, it's because they had our vape bands that glow in the dark, and that infected their.
Holy shit!
Well, they were putting it on the wrong thing, Kevin.
Well, yeah. Well, in the zeros to the mid 1900s, they were putting that shit on those like clock dials and stuff. I can't remember the name of it, but those radioactive. Huh?
It is, and they still use it.
What is it called?
Tritnite.
Okay, I thought you said strychnine. Anyway, it glowed in the dark, and I had them as a kid, and that's what was probably wrong with me. But I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, so I think they were just putting the vape band on the wrong thing.
That's right. That's right. That's not a cock ring, boy.
Well, if that fits, we're in. I wouldn't be bragging if that fits, though, Kevin. I'm just saying, you need one of these. This is the one you need right here, Kevin.
Ed's at home going, what?
Somebody just logged in and said tritium.
He's been here. He just logged in.
Tritnite or tritonite or tritium or something like that. Addie's always there to fix our wordage.
Well, see, that's why.
Good thing that we have friends like Addie.
Mallory. You and Michelle, between the two of you, sometimes.
All right. I'm sorry.
Straighten up, fly right.
I apologize.
That's not funny. yeah, it is.
I apologize, Mallory. It was funny.
What other bullshit do you have?
Oh, here. You'll love this one, Kevin.
Oh, sure I will. Of course.
This
you
one will
presume.
this one will make you happy and laugh and full of
All
joy.
right, I like to laugh. You know I'm all
It says,
fun.
could vaping one time
Fuck.
put you at a higher risk of heart failure? You got to scroll down all this
Reading
stuff
you,
here.
Bill.
Scroll down here. It says from Boston. You know, nothing good ever came out of Boston.
Oh, well, then there you go.
Just saying. Fucking massholes. Anyway, could vaping just one time put you at a higher risk of heart failure? More research is pointing to the dangers of e-cigarettes, Kevin. A new study presented at a recent American College of Cardiology scientific session followed more than 175, at least this is a real number, Kevin. This is 175,000 participants for nearly 4 years. They found that those who used e-cigarettes at any point in their lives had a 19% higher risk of heart failure compared to never users.
Once.
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, I don't even have to read any further, Kevin, and I can dispute this with just what I read right now.
Well.
So, Kevin,
yeah,
we've had scientific smart people on the show that said that
yeah.
after you stop smoking, it takes about 10 years for your lungs to return to a pre-smoking condition, right?
22 days away from 10 years.
And I'm almost 100% sure that even though I'm not the smartest guy in the box, that even though you know 10 years later, I still think that some of the harms that you incurred from smoking may last beyond that 10 years.
Well, sure.
If
you did it long enough, yeah.
So, what is the one thing that the vast majority, I'm not going to say all, but the vast majority of people that vape, what is the behavior that most of them did prior to being vapors?
Well, I'd imagine they were probably, I could be wrong, hard workers.
Well, that's probably some of them.
Oh, they were people who smoked, I bet you.
I bet you a lot of money, Kevin, that a very big, significant number of those people that were of the 175,000 participants. So let's just So of the 175,000 people that vaped, that vaped in this study, I promise you, at some point, a high number of those people probably smoke cigarettes. Probably.
Maybe. Could have. Might have.
And you know, that probably does affect their chances of increased heart issues.
Running all around my brain. Cocaine.
Yeah. Now, Kevin, not to diminish the frightening nature of heart failure.
Yeah.
But what do you think would have happened if those 175,000 people that were in this study continued to smoke?
Well, allegedly, according to those who are experts, they say 50% of the time someone's going to die, allegedly, early and have all of these other massive problems, including heart problems. So I don't know.
So 19%. Now, if we do 50%, because they say half, we'll just use that 50%. So what we're saying is that 31% of the people that would have had some sort of shorter lifespan, that you only have a 19% chance of having a shorter lifespan if you vape versus a 50% chance that you... So either way that you argue whether this is bogus or bullshit or not, it is still better than smoking, right?
Right.
Now, I mean,
how many people are going to vape one time, by the way, just because I'm curious?
Oh, I know a couple people that tried it, and didn't like it and didn't do it.
One puff, right?
Oh, I don't know about the one puff thing. Yeah,
Well, that's what their insinuation is. So
that is their insinuation from their headline.
I can read between the lines.
So it says here, e-cigarettes have been considered safer than traditional cigarettes and other tobacco products, but safer doesn't mean safe. And of course, since safer and safe are two different words, of course they don't mean the same thing, right?
No.
And has any of us ever said that vaping is 100% safe?
Not that I remember.
Okay, I just want to.
I could have. I don't remember, but you can call me out on Twitter somewhere. I'm sure I've probably done it.
These products still deliver nicotine and aerosols, which have harmful effects on the heart, lung, and brain.
And the PP. Oh, the brain. I'm sorry.
Oh, and the PP. Yeah, the uranium PP. I forgot about the uranium PP. Yeah, that's important.
I wish they'd stop worrying about our PP.
That's important.
I'd really wish they'd stop worrying about children's PPs more.
I'm very concerned at all the people that are very concerned about children's PPs, to tell you the truth, Kevin. And if I was a parent, I probably would not allow my children to go to a public school just because I don't want my kid to be the 1 in 10 that gets molested by a teacher.
I've evolved in my thinking with my grandson now that I'm
luckily, Kevin, you dodged a bullet so far because you had 2 kids in school, so that would have meant you had an even higher risk because you had 2. So if they have 10 friends, one of those kids might be the 1 in 10.
Might. That's correct.
Yeah. I don't want people to think that I'm anti-teacher, Kevin, but
neither am I. I have teachers in my family.
I'm just anti a bunch of teachers,
I'm anti fucking with kids. Leave them alone.
Yeah, I'm definitely
touching them
on that channel as well. But let's see here.
You see Raj just pulling up, having a vape, drinking his favorite beverage, just listening to us now.
Yeah. I don't know which one of the number. He says finger red number 1. I don't know what that means, but
maybe that's the meme that
I'm hoping that it's not the bad finger.
Is that a plutonium vape in your pocket? Just checking. Not uranium, plutonium. I said it on purpose, just in case.
Well, I definitely don't want like the rocket number 1.
Hey. Maybe you do want a rocket in your pocket and you just don't know any better. I don't know. That's up to you. I don't want to know. Did you freeze?
No, I'm trying to get through a commercial. I'm trying to get through a commercial here before I present. I'm presenting, and you were talking about rockets and stuff, so I just figured I'd let you go until I got to this commercial issue here. Listen, this is about Florida. Our friend Nick is not here, but
here I was going to say Nick Father's going to be flying in any second. Well, she looks
Mike
scared.
Peterson. Mike, yes, we already covered. We already covered the tritium. Tritium is the radioactive component that many watch manufacturers use to make their watch hands glow really bright.
And now it's in your PP.
A lot of high-end watches.
And now it's in your PP.
Because it's awesome. And now it's in your PP. Be careful when you're waiting for that X-ship box and you're sleeping on the couch. We wouldn't want you to get up too quickly and your PP fall off because it could happen.
That's the delivery you may not want to have.
Especially, if you're a heavy vapor.
Michelle.
I have to use my Mike Peterson voice.
Put this woman out of her misery. Look at her. She looks like she's seen a uranium ghost.
She's seen a uranium something.
Use might be getting smaller. That's because of a new law signed by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis targeting nicotine vapes. As Action News Jack's Jake Stofan reports, it's aiming at products that could appeal to kids.
Well, vaping has been the most popular form of nicotine consumption among teens for 10 years straight now, but Florida lawmakers are hoping this new law will ensure the vaping products on store shelves aren't marketed.
Now, why would you need a new law if it's already illegal for them to buy them in Florida? Why wouldn't you just give the local law enforcement a little bit of extra cash to go out there and enforce the law you already have?
Hey, nobody cares, remember? Shh. Stop. Calm down. Relax.
Well, there is that. Yeah. If I was like a sheriff or the chief of police, I would put one extra officer on like one shift a week to put plain clothes on and just drive around to places that sell tobacco and nicotine products, vape shops, grocery stores,
observational
stores.
Yeah. Scare the shit out of them.
It would have to be a rather young-looking police officer, or you would have to get a civilian that is under the 17-year-old or whatever. Or no, 18. You can still get you wouldn't have to use a child, an 18-year-old with a fake ID, and just have them go out, because any fines that they levy, they get to keep that. Mm-hmm. So that's a good way to make extra money for the police department. Is to just go out and have, just like I said, one extra shift for one officer once a week.
Well, according to the
and try to buy vape products.
According to the experts, they could recoup their cost of that officer within a few days, and then the rest of it's all gravy, right? Because it's an epidemic.
You could buy like new pinstripes for your police cruisers or something, snappy.
Make them look sharp. That's right. Yeah, sharp and snappy. That's a good word. I like that. Maybe they could get that glow
towards children.
Right.
The new law gives the Attorney General the ability to identify products that could be appealing to children and add them to a do not sell list.
So there's an arbitrary. The Attorney General can just say, "Oh, well, that looks kind of kid friendly, so let's put that on the list." Oh, that's got a color to it. That's red. Okay, let's put that on the list. Kids like colors. It has the word banana on the box. Oh, kids like bananas.
And for the record, the guy sounds like he's describing the Titanic crash or the Hindenburg or something.
Yeah.
The law specifically targets pre-filled single-use disposable vape products. The first list of prohibited products will be released on January 1st of next year. Vape retailers will have 60 days to remove banned products from their shelves or else face $1,000 a day fines per violation. Bill's sponsor, State Senator Keith Perry, says the hope is to keep options available for...
So, $1,000 a day per illicit item.
Per item.
Yes, that's what he just said. So, if you go in there and you have 5 bright red disposable vapes and 8 green disposable vapes, 2 yellow disposable vapes with the word banana, you're looking at like almost $20,000 in fines per day for something that's on a list.
Well,
so when you're already selling, now, Kevin, this is going to be hard for some people to get through their noggin. But when vape shops when every product that is already on the shelf in the vape shop is already unapproved, it gets kind of confusing of which unapproved items are on the do not sell unapproved list versus the any disposable vape that's on the market right now is already illegal.
Right. No.
Because none of them were on the market before the 2016 deadline.
No.
So they are all already illegal.
Semantics. Just
if they're from China, they can't even try to use the loophole that they have a PMTA in process because none of those motherfuckers put a PMTA in. So they're all. So it is kind of hard for business owners in Florida if they have these are legal or illegal products list to separate their already other illegal products from these illegal products.
Right. You guys have illegal stuff, and now we're going to add to that.
So just to be clear, these illegal products you can still sell. These illegal products you can't sell.
Protecting cigarettes
I'm
one
being
vape
a little
at a time.
I'm being a little facetious, Kevin, but you get what I'm saying.
No.
Okay.
For adults who want to use the products, but ensure those products don't fall into the hands of children.
I mean, they had hair braids. You can wear a hair braid. You take it off your hair, and it's a bite. They had pieces.
A hair barrette that was a vape?
Hair braid. I thought he said braid, but I don't know.
He said braid, but I was hoping that he was. So there is a vape that looks kind of like a braid, like an extension, a hair extension that.
I don't know.
I mean, I've seen some pretty wacky shit, but I've never seen that. Somebody please tell me that this exists or doesn't exist. And Fig is Fig is over here spitting the truth. The problem is that there needs to be a specific enforcement arm for such actions. Well, the agency that is legally responsible for doing this literally only has 1,000 employees in Washington, D.C. That's it. That's what their payroll is. It's about 1,000 employees. And for an agency that has 1,000 employees to try to enforce 50 statewide with just 1,000 employees and a couple million products on the market, I'm sure it's not a couple million anymore, but it may be. Kevin, don't even try to sign our tag. What the hell?
Steve. Listen, Steve says he's selling his office.
Well, it says for sale right there. I see it.
Yeah, check my background now because I got Patrick is an asshole sign somewhere and I can't find it.
So Hunky says 1,200. I'm assuming he means 1,200 employees. That's possible. The last time I checked was maybe 5-6 months ago. They may have added 200 more employees, but the last time I checked, it was 1,000. That was the number that they told everybody. So
I can only go by that. Are going to college. He gonna be kidless.
Let's see.
That you could attach to your jacket that looked like drawstrings. Again, back to
now that's not factual. The entire jacket was the vape device. It wasn't something that you add to the jacket. It was a jacket that you put a vape in your pocket, and it had a thing that connected to the device, and then you sucked here, and then it pulled from the device. But
Mr. Perry is under no obligation. There's no obligation for Mr. Perry to tell you the truth. Calm down.
Yeah, well, he is the Attorney General of Florida.
Well,
I believe
that proves my point.
So he is an attorney, so obviously he doesn't know how to say anything that's true. But
there you go.
To the highlighter, these are not designed for people who are trying to get off smoking. These are designed to get children to be able to go into the schools and have this product.
And coming up on Action News Jax at 6, I'll tell you how the vaping industry is responding to the new law. For local coverage you can count on in Springfield, I'm Jake Stofan, Action News Jax.
Action Jackson, Action News Jackson, yeah.
There aren't enough of these people that are allegedly experts that were beaten up as children by other children for being assholes.
Well, a lot of these people are members of, and I've said this, I said the Never Touch a Booby tribe.
Oh, please refer all your comments to him.
I've been on fire, Kevin. Fire.
Who could? Never mind.
Oh, I've been on fire.
Yes, Michael.
Fire.
Yes. This is what'll sound scary.
I got another vaping video clip for you, Kevin.
Is it going to make my head hurt more?
It is long, but we will not play the whole thing.
Oh, good.
Right. You're going to love this one. I know it in the depths of my heart. This is going to be your favorite part of tonight's show. Just saying.
Philippine health authorities are sounding the alarm over the dangers of e-cigarettes or vapes. For our Health Talk this week, let's debunk some of the most common misconceptions surrounding vaping. We are now joined by tobacco cessation expert and pulmonologist, Dr. Maricar Limpin. Doc Maricar, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Doc Maricar, many people believe.
Now, let me, I got to enculturalize a couple of you people before we continue. Now, being that my wife is from the Philippines, they're very particular about the way they address people that they feel should be on a higher pedestal. So, if you're a doctor in the Philippines, they think that, you know, there is no higher level for you culturally. So they will 100% of the time when they address you, after they've introduced you, they will always try to insert your credential into your name. So if you're a judge, your name, they're always going to say judge in your name. If you're an engineer in your name. Every time. So don't get distracted by that, because she's going to call her Doc Maricar for the rest of the thing. Just so you know. My wife has it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
You know that vaping is a harmless alternative to smoking. Can you address this misconception and explain why it's inaccurate?
Yes, number one, the e-cigarettes contain almost all the chemicals that are also found in the traditional cigarette.
Almost all the same chemicals, Kevin.
They said accuracy at the beginning. Is that what the word was?
Almost all the same chemicals. All of them.
Almost. Well.
Yeah. Okay.
Although they may be lower in concentrations, but definitely there are still present and included in these chemicals found in e-cigarettes and even in the smoke. You can find a lot of carcinogens,
A lot of carcinogens, Kevin.
Carcinogens are substances that can cause cancer.
And what else are some of the common myths surrounding vaping? And please debunk them.
Yes, the number one is that they always say that they are less harmful. So, well, as I have said, as long as there are chemicals that can cause cancer, and there are also chemicals that are known to be toxic to the body, then we will not be able to say that they are less harmful. Number two, there are now cases that we are seeing that actually in some patients, even after 6 months or just 1 year of use of these e-cigarettes, patients are already getting some symptoms like shortness of breath, difficulty of breathing, coughing, So, which actually shows the very irritant nature of the substances that are being inhaled by a user of.
So I think what I need to do now, Kevin, I already have 2 homes in the Philippines to live in. Yeah. All I need is to do a GoFundMe to pay for a flight from, plane tickets for me to go to the Philippines, and a couple dollars a week to buy some, noodles or something to survive on, so that I can go over there and fix some of these stupid people.
Is uranium allowed on the plane?
No.
Because,
as long as I don't pee on the plane,
just
we'll be
fine.
Careful.
I'm concerned.
My wife is actually going to the Philippines next Wednesday, so I will be a bachelor for 2 weeks. My wife is going to the Philippines, so I'm gonna have ribeye steaks every night. I might drink beer and have steak every night, and
Just
live
trying to
stream
get
drunk with red meat in my stomach.
Oh,
I might do that. I don't know. But
Oh.
yeah. 2 weeks of me being a bachelor. But yeah, I need to go over here and talk to some of these idiots. And there are amazing, passionate vape advocates already over there.
Yes.
But they're very polite. Filipinos are very polite people. I need to go over there and be impolite. So yeah, I'm just saying. I don't think I can stomach much more of this video, but I did want you to see. I mean, we have some pretty stupid people over here, and we've seen some pretty stupid video from other places.
I saw stupid people in Australia this week.
There will be actually, Kevin. I have video.
What?
I have video of Emily Banks later on in the show.
Oh.
Just saying. There is some Emily Banks material later on. Just video material of Emily Banks later on, actually. So, but I almost. Well, no, I don't almost. I feel bad.
You do.
Because we already know that Michael Bloomberg is paying for a full-time employee to sit in an office at the Philippine Department of Public Health, the Philippine FDA, essentially. That is a full-time employee of Michael Bloomberg who sits in a desk and tells them what to say. We already know that. We've proven it. It's like, what did we call that back in the when we did that? That one was philanthrocolonialism. We did a whole thing on it like 2 years ago. We've already proven it. They did the same thing in Mexico and a lot of other countries. Yeah. So, no, Mallory, I don't have that because everybody else has already played it. There's no reason for me to repeat something that everybody else has already done. It's all over Twitter. Everybody's already done it. There's no reason for me to show that too. But yeah, let's keep going with this nonsense.
The electronic cigarettes, and of course, there are so many deaths that we have actually seen in the U.S.
Deaths in the U.S. from vaping, Kevin.
Cases.
Yeah.
Of what we call the E-Valley or the e-cigarette or vape-associated acute lung injury. And in fact, in the Philippines, we have actually already recorded maybe around 6 or 7 of E-Valley cases in the country. And this is also among patients who were using e-cigarettes, not for a long time. Many of them are quite young. There is one who is just about 16 years old, and then the rest are actually just a little over 20 years old.
Now, to be fair, marijuana is not legal in the Philippines, Kevin. And I would almost bet big money that you could probably find an illicit THC vape pen in Manila.
No.
Just saying.
It's actually
Manila is a wonderful city to find illegal products in, is all I'm telling you.
This is a wonderful trip back into 2017 and 18 that Bloomberg has given us.
Yeah. Anywho, Kev, I'm not playing any more of that. I just, I wanted to give you a taste of what it's like in another country. Because we always think we have it worst here, and we do have. I'm not saying we have it great here, but
you will comply because we are smarter than you.
Yeah, that's one
Don't
of those
talk
things.
back.
Yeah. But here, let me open a tab here.
Don't be thinking for yourselves. We have an expert on them.
Yeah.
You see what Bastard said?
Bastard says a lot of things. I'm opening tabs over here right now, Kevin.
They didn't make the 1911, I apologize, for the Philippines because they wanted
the
1911
for the Philippines because they wanted a bigger handgun? Well, that is my favorite handgun. I'm just saying, I only have 6 of them. But Kevin, do you actually know what time it is?
I'm so far behind on how to tell time that I bet it's that Vape Cat. What is it?
It's time for the Vape Cats X of the Week.
So, Kevin actually provided an actual tweet, an X post.
It's a tweet.
In advance of the show.
Until further notice, they're all tweets.
It's not from somebody that he, worships and adores on X all the time.
Stop it.
Because he does share the same people over and over and over again. Kevin, they're not going to sleep with you. Stop it.
I did not, Michael. I did not.
Yeah, well, so this turns out here, this is from Dr. Toboggan.
Yeah, something.
Is he named after a sled? Toboggan? MD, Master of Public Health. It says, it turns out nicotine may actually be good for you. We already understand that nicotine is a neuroprotectant. Now studies are showing it can possibly reverse Parkinson's. The problem is big tobacco sticking over 100 different chemicals in cigarettes. Absolutely
also
correct.
Public health lying.
Well, but But anyway,
illusion.
So this is in response to Tristan, one of the Tates. If you know Andrew Tate.
I do not.
Andrew Tate is a ex-martial arts guy who's got one of the biggest podcasts in the world.
Okay.
He is, I think he's a, what's the word I want to use? a modernized member of the modernized Church of Islam. I think that there might be some Muslim going on there. I've never really paid that much attention to him, but he is a very high testosterone. Like if you watch his podcast, even a little bit, you are going to see there's a little bit of misogyny. There's a little bit of high tea going on.
Oh,
well. So it says people had more kids and were and in better shape when cigarettes were legal.
And that is exactly what I wanted you to do, was to go up to see what the response was from. Don't have to go any further. That is true. Mr. Tate is correct.
Well, and here's a study that shows that a 30% reduction in Parkinson's with coffee and cigarettes compared to non-smokers. This is no way an endorsement of smoking cigarettes. Again, big tobacco has added addictive and dangerous chemicals. Yes, that is correct. So that is a perfectly awesome tweet, Kevin. That is, again, not from one of the 800,000 people that you already have following you that you're trying to...
Calm down, Karen.
But I actually have not Alex Wodek tweeting or posting, but here is a post from Baker B.
Oh yeah, do you follow Baker B?
I don't, but I will. See, look, now I do.
There you go.
Again, Alex Wodek and his legendary conflict of interest statement. This should be a default COI together with pharmaceutical funding for anyone that derives income from government funding. So let's unmute the tweet here so that you can hear the brilliant Alex Wodek's response to this asinine question about whether he takes money from big tobacco. And let me know if you hear audio. No,
I do not. I do not.
Periodically, the share screen likes to be a biatch. So let me go over here and open another share screen.
Oh.
And that way everybody can actually hear the brilliance of Alex Wodek. Oh. It says let's just click it. Let's just click it out completely.
Oh.
Because it's telling me that it is still doing it. I know, right?
Let me
go back over here and get a new link.
We need Jeopardy music when you're doing this kind of shit. Not from you. Not from me.
All right, fine. Here, let me re-prepare.
We get this when we get it right.
Not muted. And bastards over there giving me sarcasm.
He's an impatient bastard. Loading.
All right, here we go. Enhance.
Dr. Wojdak.
Would answer is no. I've sent in 2 declarations already testifying to the fact that I haven't received any financial support from those organisations. I did point out that I worked in government hospitals in Melbourne, London and Sydney for about 40 years, so therefore received government salaries, and some government income is inevitably derived from the tobacco industry, either through excise or through other forms of taxation. And like any other person receiving government salaries, I indirectly receive money from the tobacco industry.
Dr. Wojdak.
So if you can't hear, if you can't, because the audio is very low, the question is regarding whether or not he has received money from Big Tobacco, and he says, I've already submitted this twice. I'm telling you, no, I don't collect any money from Big Tobacco. And also, just, something I always tell everybody is, I've worked in public hospitals in the UK and in Australia for 20 or 30 years. And since those hospitals are funded by government money, and a vast amount of government money is taxed from cigarettes, that indirectly, yes, some of my income did come from Big Tobacco because I worked for the government. And any government employee is also being paid Big Tobacco money.
Roger.
Yeah. So that is also what paraphrase, and it's the same thing he said in the Australian Select Committee hearings.
That's correct.
With Holly that we interviewed on the show. Like 3 years ago. He said it much louder on that audio, but this is a new hearing done over Zoom, whereas that one he was actually in the room. But here, Kevin, this is another thing that I saw here. This is from Intercoast Colleges, and it's trade schools in California. I don't know why they're retweeting. I'm not complaining that they're retweeting this study from the Journal of Addiction that discusses how stupid Australia's prescription model is and what's going to happen and how it's not really helpful. But here, let's share this one. It says, will Australia's tightened prescription system reduce nicotine vaping among young people? And if you scroll
and then we
down,
laughed.
there's some background and methods and yada yada yada. And it says results: e-cigarette use among youth and young adults has increased deeply since 2016, but very few of these products have been obtained through a prescription system. Because medical authorities discouraged their use, a policy change in 2021 to increase the prescription of e-cigarettes has not reduced e-cigarette use among youth and only marginally increased rates of prescriptions. Australian policymakers have nonetheless tightened the prescription system by banning any use of e-cigarettes unless prescribed by a doctor and dispensed by a physician. So all indicators, if I had my magic 8-ball.
Hey. No cocaine discussions on this show.
It would say no.
Cocaine.
No. I didn't say cocaine. I said magic 8-ball, you dumbass. Rogaine.
Rogaine. Oh,
Have you not heard that there's a parody song called Rogaine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just checking.
I wonder how Joe liked that. Is it Joe? What's his name?
Eric Clapton.
Jackson Brown. Oh no, I was thinking of Jackson Brown's cocaine.
No, Eric Clapton wrote that, or I don't know if he wrote it, but he recorded it.
Jackson Brown also had one with cocaine.
But the one that you were singing, and the song that Rogaine was based on,
running all around my brain. No, I don't know the Rogaine song, but if you listen to Jackson Brown's Cocaine and then you listen to Eric Clapton's Cocaine, they are two completely different songs.
Yes, but the song Rogaine is based on Eric Clapton's Cocaine.
I've heard of it. I don't think I have heard it.
Oh.
Fig, keep your uranium safe.
Yes, we don't want Fabby to have to deal with your pee-pee falling off.
And no pee-peeing in the hallways anymore, because you Californians, just make me worry.
You're weird. What the hell?
I don't know. Sonia's just snuck in, or she's been here all along.
I'm just waiting for the spinny wheel to quit spinning. Spinny wheels.
Did you see the outhouse close at night? That's why.
I'm waiting for an ad.
Victor, we used your wife's video again because I didn't know if they were taxed. Fig. Fig. In capital letters.
Why are you and Fig feuding? Quit feuding.
Because I didn't want him peeing in the hallways. That's all. She was at wine at night, and I support that.
Well, Kevin whines all the time.
Yes, that's correct.
All the time. Let's see if we can get this video to work over here, Kevin.
So it's actually industry as well. I can defer to.
I think that's a very important point I'd like to come back to, but can I just get an answer to my question?
Yeah, sure.
So is there an example? Can you
so the other thing is, we're not just talking about deaths. There are examples of things to put.
Comes up again in industry. It's criminals in Australia, isn't it?
So it's actually industry as well. I can defer to.
I think that's a very important point I'd like to come back to, but can I just get an answer to my question?
Yeah, sure. So
is there an example? Can you
so the other thing is, we're not just talking about deaths. There are examples of deaths in those countries from exploding batteries, for example.
Oh, the exploding battery.
Matt. I can't remember his name. I'm sure that bastard will tell me his name. Matt had asked her to provide an example of anyone dying from vaping, and she could not from actual proper use of the device. She did decide to bring up the absolute one death. Yeah. Canavan, yes, that's the guy's name. I remember it now that James R. told me it. But yeah, Matt Canavan is a government person in Australia. A minister or I don't know what they're called over there. But asked her, Emily, to provide an example of somebody dying from vaping. And she couldn't find one. Couldn't find one. So she had to bring up the exploding battery from the guy having the mech mod beside his bed and it exploding and shooting into his head. That guy who was asleep and not using the device, and definitely not using the device as
right.
He's intended. A senator. He's a senator, Matt Canavan. Yeah, let me just present this so that we can read this one paragraph from the article. It says, federal national senator for Queensland, Queensland, Matt Canavan, told the Inquiry that he is still not sure after all these years if anyone had died using a vape in places like the United Kingdom or New Zealand, and or even just a severe medical episode, because I'm trying to reach what the threshold is here for before we ban something, and is there that evidence? And Professor Banks talked about the 31 countries that had banned vapes before the issue is bigger than consenting adults buying the product, as children have been targeted, blah, 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 blah. Matt conceded that while it was a very important point, he wanted the answer to his question. So she says, so we're not just talking about deaths. There are examples of death in those countries from exploding batteries, for example. Although Professor Banks couldn't point to anyone dying because of inhaling e-cigarettes, she listed other health implications. There were also examples of severe lung injuries. It was just like that doctor we just played from the Philippines. I was just in an international forum recently where a doctor was talking about having a teenager on a ventilator with tubes in their chest due to a lung trauma related to vaping. And they were talking about it very difficult to remove the tubes because the lung damage was so severe. Also noting that they had never had a teenager in their care in that situation because of smoking.
Oh. Huh.
So now vaping is worse than smoking, Kevin.
Oh.
Yeah. So I just thought it was funny that Miss Emily Banks was over there. Could not point to a single issue. And then if any one of us, Kevin, if any one of us was in the room, and I'm talking about I'm not talking about just me and Kevin. I'm talking about Victor and James and Bastard and Fig and Sonia. Anybody in our chat room would have been able to rebut everything that she said. Everything that she said.
Without looking anything
I guarantee
up.
you,
Without
Kevin.
looking it up.
I guarantee you, Kevin, that lung injury that she was referring to was probably a spontaneous pneumothorax. Mm-hmm. We have plenty of evidence to show that young men with slight fatigue or slight physiques, bony, skinny kids, often,
me at 16,
very often have spontaneous pneumothoraxes.
I guess it's refreshing to see. I saw Bruni's girlfriend Becky on there and Paul. I think they fight over. They were just bumbling, fumbling, stumbling twats, idiots, dumbasses. Blah, 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 blah. They really didn't have their answers. They really don't have answers, and that showed clearly. So I was enjoying, I believe.
Yeah, but like I said, any one of our listeners.
Yeah, Mel and Michelle and Pippa were all.
Any one of our listeners would have been able to argue that.
Yes. In court.
What were you talking about?
Absolutely. Huh?
What? You were talking over me. What? I didn't hear what you said.
Sorry.
What did you say?
Oh, that I saw Mallory and whoever else was doing it. Michelle and Pippa, I think, was also posting those, and I got to see that this week.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always the same. We have. I have to say, Kevin, with all I've always stated on this show that the women advocates of vaping are usually the most passionate and intelligent. Not always, but but now we know with the uranium.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Well, should have asked kids to come pee.
All hate mail goes directly to Kevin. I'm just saying.
That's right. Hey, was Holly in that fun and excitement there?
Who?
Holly Hughes, who we've had on the show.
She wasn't in the article.
Well, I didn't know if she was at the hearing.
I don't know. I wasn't in the hearing. I didn't. I work,
so.
Kevin. I can't sit here all day and watch videos.
I hope so. The uranium girls. It's a club and we ain't in it.
No, not yet. But if we keep vaping, maybe.
I'll try.
Maybe. Oh, not only, Kevin. Not only do we have to deal with uranium.
Yeah.
Not only do we have to deal with uranium, but we
What's
also
myranium?
have uranium. No, uranium. We also have to deal with arsenic now. So Vape Lab, the toxic truth about flavors. Heavy metals like Metallica and like lead and arsenic could find their way into vapor you're inhaling, courtesy of vape components. There's no doubt that vapes have gained popularity over the past few years. They were originally introduced to us as an alternative to smoking cigarettes, only to take over so viciously, Kevin, like a rabid dog, that it's not uncommon to see shells of old, misshapen, deep purple or fluorescent pink disposable vapes tossed into the bins in smoking areas instead of cigarette butts.
Oh, I thought you was talking about tobacco control experts turning purple. Okay, go ahead.
But the bright colors and fruity flavors are disguising an ugly truth that isn't talked about enough. What exactly are you inhaling when you hit or take a hit of your vape? As more research is done in the area looking into chemicals and possible reactions that occur when these chemicals are heated, it's become more and more clear that vaping is a serious issue that needs to be addressed, Kevin.
Yeah.
Dr. Celine Kelso, a respected researcher from the University of Wollongong, is New Zealand, brought to light some concerning truths about the nicotine levels in vape liquids when speaking on the chemical, psychological, and physiological effects of e-cigarettes. She explained that despite these labels, I need to get that Celtics hat right there, Kevin. I'm just saying.
Stop it.
Well, they're showing me ads. Anyway, when she explained that despite what labels might suggest, nicotine lurks in a lot of disposable vapes people are purchasing.
Lurks.
Even those that claim otherwise. This means that a lot of people aren't aware of the amount of nicotine they're actually consuming.
Oh my God! Some people are lying and some aren't telling the truth. Is it what?
Although disposable
Here we go.
vapes do not have a listed nicotine concentration, everyone that I've ever seen did. Our study of over 100 donated samples has found that all e-liquid solutions within these disposable vapes contain an average of 4 to 5% nicotine. That's pretty high. That's 40 to 50 milligrams right there, Kevin.
I thought we were talking about arsenic. Why are they talking about nicotine?
Well, there's nicotine in there. Let's scroll down. Nicotine is an addictive substance, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, right.
It's bad for you, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. All extreme cases, it can cause E-Valley, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Even though it specifically says vitamin E acetate, but they aren't even smart enough to realize that vitamin E acetate is not water soluble, and nicotine vaping requires the chemistry to be water soluble. So that is definitely not a nicotine e-cigarette. Yada, yada, yada. Let's see if I can even find a mention of arsenic here, Kevin.
All I know is chuckleheads can figure this out, that arsenic is in poultry and rice and mushrooms, and they're idiots.
Oh, well, see, now I have to go back up here, Kevin. I have to start at the top.
I thought it said arsenic.
It did. It says arsenic right there in the lead.
Okay, making sure.
Now I'm going to do a find.
It's like a misleading.
I'm going to do a find.
It's like a misleading story. Tell me a story.
Let me do a find. Oh, there it goes. Arsenic. So there's one arsenic. Oh, there's the other one. So it says here, while you fire up your vape, the heating process can trigger some unexpected transformations. It's like a GoBot or a transformer, Kevin. Like, it's an Autobot. It's going to transform. For those of you that don't know, GoBots was a bargain version, a cheap knockoff version of the Transformers. Just, that includes production of formaldehyde, which is proven to cause cancer. And as if that isn't enough, don't forget about the potential contaminants in your vape device itself. Heavy metals.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
And arsenic could find their way into the vapor you're inhaling, courtesy of your vape components. But that is the, While vaping has been marketed as a safer alternative to smoking, originally it is related to, in the reality is far more complex. With so many chemicals lurking in vapes, Kevin, chemicals, and they're lurking.
I can
and the
taste
ones
the
created
arsenic.
when you're using them, you're exposing yourself to so many risks known and unknown. While research continues to unravel long-term effects of vaping, one thing is obvious: inhalation of toxic chemicals can cause real harm. So before you take another puff, Kevin, from that vape, consider the toxic truth behind the flavors.
I'm considering the fictional stenographer that we're listening to.
The toxic truth.
Transform it from word to sound. I love that.
Well, I'm trying to make it entertaining with my dramatic
I
reading,
can't.
Kevin.
What is wrong with this, Patrick? I cannot taste my arsenic. It's just not high enough, I guess. I got to try harder. Maybe I could pump this up to 700. I don't know.
Let's see. We've got a doctor, Kevin. We've got a doctor. Her name is Marisa Bittoni. Marisa Bittoni.
Okay.
And she's got a video on YouTube where she's talking about the link between vaping and lung cancer. What are the known effects of vaping on the lung? Is what this says. So let's go here.
First, we should probably talk just what is vaping. I mean, it's when a person vapes, they use a vape pen. It's also called a.
Now, Kevin,
what?
I'm looking at this mid to late 70s or early 80s haircut.
Why do we got to fuck with her in her haircut? What the hell has that got to do with it?
It's got some lift to it.
It's got a little white rain and boof in it, I guess.
I'm expecting to have some fairly phenomenal shoulder pads here.
Good point, Mallory.
Yeah. And Mallory says that this is a Karen. I apologize to any people watching our show who are named Karen. You may find Mallory on Twitter, Mallory Gates.
My sister Sonia's laughing. Oh, wait, I'm her sister.
E-cigarette, and it uses a battery that heats a liquid, special liquid that is converted into an aerosol, which is typically a mixture of water and nicotine and flavorings and other chemicals.
Now, there's absolutely, as far as I know, Kevin, I make my own e-liquid. I have never put water in my e-liquid.
Neither have I. Neither have I.
Yeah.
No.
This is inhaled, and in this heating process, there are also other substances that are produced. So things such as formaldehyde and other harmful chemicals. And obviously, these are inhaled into the lungs. So
now, if she brings up uranium or arsenic, we're going to have the hat trick.
Now, before you move, before you hit that little button to roll that beautiful Bean Karen footage, does PG or VG have water in it?
So I think during the outgassing of the vaporization process, that actual H2O is part of the vapor, but she specifically said that it was an ingredient.
Right. Well, I didn't know if PG. I never looked at PG's.
Yeah, I'm not brainy enough to know all of the different constituents that outgas when you create the vapor, but she said ingredient. So,
but condensation does occur, and whatever. Yes. But we don't pour water. I've never put water in my liquids that I've made myself.
Right.
Just curious. I didn't know. I don't know. I don't know everything. Yeah, fine.
Okay.
These are delivered deep into the lungs and can be very addictive, which we know nicotine is part of that, and it can be very addictive.
Okay, again, I'm addicted to oxygen, Kevin. I require oxygen to breathe.
Oh, I love oxygen.
And if I don't inhale oxygen, there are withdrawal symptoms like death that occur.
You know how dangerous this shit is? This is dangerous.
Being addicted to a harmless or mostly harmless thing, because obviously the oxygen that we breathe in our air is
it
not
contributes to
100%
fire.
Safe.
No, it contributes to fire.
Yes, it actually makes a fire even
crazy.
hotter and
Absolutely
burn harder.
insane.
And so studies have shown that e-cigarette use does cause some increase in airway resistance and also produces inflammation in the lungs, which is
temporary.
You know, every time I vape,
all
I
of these things that she says are they're not factually incorrect.
It's all in
they
the
do
word.
occur, but they resolve quite quickly. So there. And oxygen by itself, Michael says oxygen is toxic. Well, anything can be toxic depending on the dosage that you use. 100% pure oxygen over a long period of time can cause significant biological issues. Just saying. We don't breathe pure oxygen. You can get oxygen sick.
Similar to what one might see in lung cancer development. Obviously, there's been some other like popcorn lung and other issues with the lung. Now, those were caused. They found specific chemicals that were being added, like mostly flavorings. And so, because for a while there was this like outbreak of popcorn lung everybody was hearing about, but they removed that additive, and I think that's less than it used to be. But
there was an outbreak of popcorn lung, Kevin.
They reduced that additive. Woman, shut it.
There was an outbreak.
Oh.
An outbreak. I invite each and every person watching this show to go to the show notes and go to this YouTube channel and leave a comment.
Well,
they're going to be very happy because I don't know that anybody actually has left any comments on here. But please educate this person that there has never been an outbreak of popcorn lung related to vaping ever. And there's only been a handful of bronchiolitis obliterans cases linked to diacetyl, and it was limited to one small popcorn flavoring factory.
As a side note, her hair looks like it has popcorn hair. So.
Now, Kevin, you just chastised me for making fun of her hair. Now you're making fun of her hair.
You goaded me into it, and now I'm all in. It's there it is.
There's a word.
Peer pressure.
There's a word, Kevin.
What's that?
You can't be a hypocrite. You can't chastise me for making fun of her hair, then turn around and make fun of her hair.
Sure, I can.
You can, but it's not very nice.
It could,
but that's the other kind of damage that can happen.
Yeah.
Now let's go. The question is, to date, why has the impact of vaping on lung cancer risk been unexplored? Kevin,
what
has this been unexplored?
Mm-mm.
I believe that I've seen many research papers on this particular topic.
At least a couple.
So, regardless of whether they are good science or bad science, or it is not unexplored.
No,
is what I'm saying.
At least hundreds.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So we really don't know. It's really too early.
We really don't know. It's too early
to tell. Vaping has only been around a few years, maybe 5, 10. I'm not even sure.
5, 10 years, Kevin. I've been vaping for almost 15 years. 14 years.
She's an expert, but she doesn't know enough. I can't.
About how 10. So it hasn't been around that long. And also the people that do vape the most are the younger population.
People that vape the most are the youngest population. Kevin, Addie, Michael, Mallory. They have been vaping. Some of these people have been vaping for a long time.
Listen
just
to
like
me.
us. And some of you, I know, vape like chimneys. I'm just saying. And I'm sitting here, when I'm sitting here and I'm not working, like I'm here in my office, I also vape like a chimney.
Yeah. It's there.
So
keeps me
it's just because of the wonderful green e-liquid goodness, you know. Hunky says, thank you for calling me young. Well, compared to Kevin, everybody's young.
All the women are 21 years old. I don't care what you say. All the women in our audience are 21.
I don't.
Except
Well,
that cranky old bro.
somebody named Hunky is probably not a girl.
Yeah, I'm just saying all the women in our
Hunky
group.
is sort of a descriptor for a male.
I don't know.
Person.
Hunky's
I
on
wouldn't
Twitter.
want to. I wouldn't want a hunky woman.
Hunky, you are on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. I just saying.
Especially teenagers. So, and some estimates I've read somewhere like 1 in 5 teenagers vape versus like 1 in 3 adults.
Oh my.
So, it's still very early, and lung damage takes a long time. And I mean, we see lung cancer mostly in people that are in their 60s. I mean, these are people that have smoked like 30 plus 40 pack years, which is a pack year is like 1 pack a day for so long. So it just takes so long for this damage to happen. And and you have to have these really long-term studies, and these could take decades. So obviously that it's a tremendous amount of resources that would be required to conduct these long
decades, Kevin.
My goodness.
We're not smart enough. We don't have computers. We can't do like extrapolation research to look at chemical output over a short period of time and then calculate that output over time.
Right.
And we can't measure. Obviously, we can't look at that and go this much tissue damage at this much tissue damage at we can't do that. We actually have to wait 30, 40, 50, 100 years.
My suggestion, honestly, is that you take all the 12 to 18-year-olds and you dissect them, and then you find out. Because they're vaping anyway.
So, Mallory says, wait, we don't have the tech to tell what's in a vape. We do, but she's claiming that we can't. We have to have time. We have to, do the studies and then do them again at a later time and do them again at a later time to build your data set. But the problem is apparently we're not smart enough to know that we get this much at this date. We can't possibly extrapolate use patterns over a short period of time and multiply that data. We can't do that.
Well, the other problem is they've got idiots like this woman, who will come on and speak to the masses who don't know any better.
I was almost going to be complimentary and say that she does kind of have a Carol Burnett thing going on, but I love Carol Burnett, and I can't.
There you go.
I can't put those two on the same page.
And there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Long-term studies. So that's why we really haven't seen. We'll probably be seeing in 10 or 20 years what the results are, but we do want to try to find a way to find that a little bit sooner, so that we don't find these bad effects.
Well, let's vape more.
That could have hopefully been prevented.
We can vape more.
Says, talk to us about the study you led, which examined the association between vaping and lung cancer risk, and how was the study conducted, and what were the findings? Oh, this ought to be fun, Kevin.
That's kind of funny from the previous question, but all right.
Yeah, it's pretty similar, but.
Exactly, Victor.
Right. So since we, couldn't do a long-term study, so my colleagues and I, we decided to do what we call a case control study, which is where you already have.
Okay, so I'm assuming she's going to describe her study where she shows trace elements.
Yeah.
And she multiplies that to get cancer risk over time. But she can only do that if it shows negative consequences.
But there wasn't enough time. It hasn't been going on long enough.
I'm just guessing, Kevin.
Person. So the person with lung cancer, we already have the cases. And so what you do is you look at what their exposure was. So you go back and look at the record and you check all the the exposures. And so what we did there was we took all the cases from about 2013 to 21, when our electronic medical records really started in 2013, where we had really good valid data. And so we took that, all those cases, and we had about 5,000, close to 5,000 lung cancer cases, and then we compared those to what we call the controls. which who were matched on several characteristics because you want to kind of reduce the noise. You want your controls to be as similar to the cases as possible. So we matched on age, gender, location of residence, like county, and also the year of diagnosis of the person. So they were the same, like looking at the same year. And so using those factors, we matched, actually we had 5 controls for every case, which is typical to have more controls per case. Again, you want as many people as possible, make it, average those differences out. So that really what you're looking at is your exposure of interest, which in our case is vaping and smoking. So we had about 25,000, controls, because about 5 controls.
So just to break this down to Kevin and I stupid level. They had a control group and an experiment group, right? Mm-hmm. The control group and the experiment group were maxed on 5 demographic / data points. Only 5 to make their pool cohesive. So, like she said, region, age, similar physical makeup, yada, yada, yada. But they only used 5 data points to make a comparison between apples and apples. They're trying to make apples and apples.
Well, yeah.
But with only 5 points of data as comparison points, control points, is that really enough? And she even said that's not really, we like to have more, but they only had 5.
Per case. And so what we found there is we actually found some huge differences in the lung cancer risk of lung cancer development. So our odds ratios, which is our a statistical measure of risk. And what we found is in the range of 60 on our first estimates. And these were they were adjusted for age, gender, and race. So that's a huge number. I mean, we're like, even if you find an odds ratio of 2, that means you basically have double the risk of versus like a smoker versus a non-smoker. So what we found were the vapors and smokers had about a 60 increased risk of developing lung cancer compared to a non-smoker. A smoker had about 13 times the risk. So that's actually a 4-fold increase in risk from the people that vaped and smoked versus those that only smoked. And so we would have loved.
Okay, so let's get this. They had non-smokers, smokers, and people that vape and smoke.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a group of people that only vaped.
I'm just going to wait on the rodent to show me the actual numbers, or Juca, because I don't understand. It's all verbal masturbation, every bit of it.
So the people that smoked, according to her, only had a 4-fold increase in cancer risk.
Yeah.
The people that smoked and vaped had a significantly higher risk of developing cancer. It's the opposite of what Michael Redfern just put in there. So let's back up about a half a minute here.
Ratio of 2. That means you basically have double the risk of versus like a smoker versus a non-smoker. So what we found were the vapors and smokers had about a 60 increased risk of developing lung cancer compared to a non-smoker. A smoker had about 13 times the risk. So that's actually a 4-fold increase in risk from the people that vaped and smoked versus those that only smoked. And so we would have loved to have a vaping only group, but unfortunately we did not, because like I said, this, vaping is relatively new. People that already have lung cancer, they're probably.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of kids to come up soon.
Yeah.
They're relatively early vapors, and they've all pretty much smoked. I mean, 98%, I think, had smoked. And now this is all based.
So now they're saying that in their pool, 98% of the people that vaped had been previous smokers.
I'll be damned. Look at that.
Yeah.
But I thought there was a epidemic of.
So the confusing nature of the way she's speaking is telling me that she's not talking about dual use, which is what it sounded like, but it is sounding like people that had smoked and then switched to vaping, and people that still smoked. So she's saying that the people that smoked and then became vapors had a significant increase over people that just smoked.
Right.
That's what she said.
Based on self-report to remember, when you go in, they ask you the questions, before your visits, that's what these data are based on. One of our limitations is that we did not have, really good quantities. We couldn't get the total exposure to the vaping and smoking. For vaping, actually, we
or when people actually started vaping.
Now it's anecdotal, period. That's
so if they
self-reporting
started vaping, no, because it's no longer anecdotal if it gets recorded and used in science.
Oh, okay, I got
you. Yeah, that's the if somebody collects the data and puts it into an Excel spreadsheet, it no longer becomes
now
anecdotal.
It's science. Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
This is magic.
So the flaw that I just myself, she hasn't addressed, and I don't imagine that she's going to, is when were they diagnosed and when did they start vaping? So if they were diagnosed with cancer and the doctor said, you know what, you need to quit smoking ASAP.
Yeah.
And then
they found an alternative.
They decided to find vaping.
Yeah.
And they already had lung cancer. So again, this gets spread around the internet. This gets put out into the world. And it's very, this is not the paper. This is a woman describing the paper. So, if the questions aren't asked or she doesn't decide to mention it during the interview, we lose that contextual importance. Here, I'm using fancy words like contextual importance, Kevin.
Well,
but yeah, I saw this, and I'm not going to play any more of it because it's ridiculous. But this is on DocWire, and it has already had 183 views, Kevin, and 0 comments. So at some point here, I'm going to copy this into the chat for each and every one of you to participate. At some point this evening or tomorrow, go to that link as it pops into the places. How comes it didn't go to YouTube? Why didn't it go to YouTube? Oh, it did. It did go to YouTube. Okay. And then please leave a comment about the nonsensical, unscientific paper that she is discussing here. There is no link to the actual paper in her description, which is really kind of a warning sign. If I was a researcher
kind of strange, isn't it?
I would be extremely eager to share
unless it hasn't been
my
approved
document so that people can read it.
Maybe it wasn't approved yet.
Well,
peer review. Who knows?
Here, let me see here. If I copy her name, Dr. Marisa Bittoni, and I go over to Google and I type it in, and then I type in the word vaping.
Yes.
Let's see.
Yes.
Here's a paper.
Yes, Mallory.
No, it's not the paper. Fuck. Let me go back. Let's see what ResearchGate says.
ResearchGate. Basically, they can say what they want for now. But I assume a whole new generation is coming up that's going to have the vaping only. Maybe they smoked once or twice. Maybe they smoked for 6 months. Maybe they switched. Yeah. And then they do, 20 years or 30 years of vaping, and they'll have their base eventually, surely, because there's a gazillion of people that are, even kids.
So I have found an abstract of her paper. I'm looking to see if there's a DOI number, which I do not find. Oh, there it is. Let me click on the DOI number. Yeah, I found the DOI. And this is a presentation of a case control study. Here's the link for that. So all of you people can go and find that. Let's just go down here to the conclusion. And let's just share this on screen while I read the conclusion to my friends in the chat here. Well, let's see, share. How comes when I have to hit, it says, conclusion, adjusted estimates of odds ratios revealed over 3-fold higher risk of lung cancer among individuals who had vaped and smoked compared to individuals who had only smoked. Our results suggest that the addition of vaping to smoking greatly accelerates the risk of developing lung cancer, and future studies are needed to further confirm these results.
Suggest to put forward for consideration.
Again,
really,
I'm deeply concerned. Deeply concerned that this is nonsensical crap that gets gesticulated and shared and absorbed by stupid people who can't think for themselves, who will look at this poorly created research paper that somehow concludes that if you find a product that has fewer chemicals in it than the first chemical or the first thing that you're using, that somehow it will increase your risk of developing a disease, even though it has fewer constituents and fewer outgases.
Now, devil's advocate, we want to know if this is a possibility. I do.
But I want this study to be done a little bit
better.
It
has to be solid. Yeah, it can't be we might make.
I want good science. I really want good science on that topic, Kevin. If I'm increasing my cancer risk, I'll just go back to smoking a cigarette.
Right. But for anybody that's new listening or in the future listening, sometimes we, harp and scream and yell and holler and complain, and we don't justify what we're saying by saying things like that. We do want to know.
Complain, Kevin. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think there should be a study that shows my blood pressure being higher on Friday nights between 10 and 4 in the morning sometimes because of you. That's what I think. Studies show,
Yeah.
Funding, yes, Michael. Funding. We want
survey says, But hey, Kev.
What?
Hey, Kev.
What?
How we're about to transition.
Oh, good Lord! Really good.
Over to the Rumbles.
Tap tap tap.
We're cooking with gas tonight, Kevin.
This is all in relation to tomorrow morning. If she starts yelling at me because I'm cranky and groggy, you're in trouble next week. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not afraid of you.
Oh, you should be afraid of her.
You're all the way over in Ohio. You can't do anything to me. I'm not afeared.
I have relatives in Texas. I just don't admit it to you.
No, I'm not afeared of them either. Do I need? No, I think I have.
So,
all right, we're gonna play a short video tonight, Kevin.
Yeah,
because I already have drink, so you must run faster to get your drink.
It's almost gone, so I'm just going to make another cup. It doesn't matter.
So, we love you. If you don't go over to the Rumble, we don't love you.
That's not true for me.
But we hope to see you over there, but we're going to go over there. So I'm going to play a 2-minute video so Kevin has time to go get some coffee. We'll see you in just a minute. You see, he left.
Science is back, and I choose science over fiction. And so if the science is demonstrating it's doing great damage, then I don't care what it does to a small business person who's selling this stuff. If it is damaging lungs, if it's causing the kind of damage that is said, and that study's not been fully done yet, if it turns out that it is, then I would eliminate it. I would make it, I would go after it in a hard way. I would make it broader, not just for he is.
If we get asked a specific question by a teen, either a direct message to us or via social media about the relative harms of vaping versus cigarettes, we try to be as clear as possible that if your comparator is a cigarette, vaping is less harmful.
In England, the Royal College of Physicians has apparently done a great deal of research on e-cigarettes, and they have actually found that compared to smoking cigarettes, the rate of damage from e-cigarettes is 5% of what it is from smoking traditional cigarettes. You're reducing the damage by 95%. Hey, I don't think vaping or e-cigarettes are good for you. But if you have to choose between smoking and vaping, I happen to feel that vaping is safer. I don't think vaping is good for you, but it's better than smoking.
We're going to choose science over fiction.
And FDA has not used that terminology to use the most recent estimates of youth use. I will say that I'm an epidemiologist by training, so I'm fully cognizant of